here. All right, I am on with John Collins Black of the book There's Treasure Inside. Thank you so much, John, for joining today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, before we get started, my kids want to meet you, so I have to bring them up. They are searchers of this treasure, so I'm just going to quickly introduce them. Come
Great.
over here. This is my autistic son, Joseph.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, Joseph, how you doing?
He is our searcher of the Pokemon box. And then we've got Alice. She's my boots on the ground helper.
Hey, Alice.
And then we've got Savannah. She is my
Oh,
8-year-old who has uncovered so many clues in your pictures. It's amazing. So she's really proud of
nice.
herself for that. Awesome. I do have someone else in the waiting room, a Jillian Freed. Is that your person?
Yeah, you could let her in. She's just going to listen in.
Okay, sounds good. Wonderful. Okay, so I just want to introduce kind of the book and this hunt first, and then go ahead and ask you some questions, John. I
Sure.
also want to share a story too with the autism community.
Great.
So, for those of you that are watching, John is the author of There's Treasure Inside, and he has hidden 5 treasure boxes spread out across the US so that each box is in proximity to the majority, hopefully, of the US population. So that means a box could be close to you. The total value of the treasure boxes are around $3 million, according to John, and will likely continue to appreciate the longer it takes for those boxes to be found. So, yes, $3 million worth of treasures, including physical Bitcoin, Pokemon cards, shipwrecked treasure, gold bars, a signed photograph of Amelia Earhart, an Olympic gold medal, a Michael Jordan basketball card. High five to that one. A 9.6 carat emerald. Not sure if there's any diamonds in there. I didn't see any reference to that, but the list goes on. He included basically a wide variety of treasures so that it would appeal to the most amount of people. And then he wrote a book called There's Treasure Inside with all of the clues on how to find each of the boxes. So there's one larger box, 4 smaller boxes, and they're spread out there. So did I get all that right, John? Is there anything I'm missing?
No, that was pretty amazing. I was thinking as you were talking, I should just carry you around in my pocket so that I don't have to say that introduction. That was better than I could do. So I appreciate
I've
that.
listened to all your interviews and I hear you repeat the same things over. So I figured I'd get that kind of out there and then we'll get into the good stuff. So I wanted to start out first by sharing a really brief story of how our autism family got into this hunt. Well, maybe not how we got in, but our first boots on the ground. So I'm all about the lion's share of the treasure, go big or go home. And my son is very interested in the Pokemon box. And so one night I came home about 11 o'clock at night, and my son's been reading the book shortly after we got it. And he's like, Mom, I think I've figured out like a lot of clues in the Pokemon box. Can I show you? And I just want to go to bed at this time, but I want to take the time to just, be with him and go through these clues. And so we started going through them. I'm reading them all with him, kind of working it through myself. And 1 o'clock in the morning, we're like, oh my gosh, we know where this treasure is. So I call my brother who's in Canada. I'm like, we got to get on a plane. We're going to Arkansas. And he's like, I'm going to get fired from work. I'm like, just do it anyways. We're going to have fun. And so he called in. I woke up my husband. It was like 1 in the morning. I'm like, hey, Vern, we found where the Pokemon box is. We're going to go. I'm going to get on a flight. I'm going to take Joseph. We're going to go find it. We'll be gone for 4 days. We'll be back. We had this whole coherent conversation at 1 a.m. in the morning. So we book the flights, we go, and then at 5 o'clock, when I'm just boarding the train or the plane, um, I'm getting a call from my husband. He's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? Where am I? We're on our way to Arkansas. We're boarding the plane right now. We're gonna go get the Pokemon box. I'll see you in 4 days." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "We had a whole conversation about it. I woke you up." He's like, "I don't remember any of this." So he was not happy with me, but he got over it quickly. And then we searched like morning to night, up, down, up, down, up, down, all these hills. So tired, so wet. But out of all that work, my autistic son said this was the best trip we ever took. And he just absolutely loved it. The combo of the treasure hunt and probably all the Texas Roadhouse that we had, he was big on that. But we're Disney people. We go to Disney World a lot. And so for him to say that he still stands by this was the best trip of his life. So I just think this hunt is amazing for all families. For those of you in the autism community, we all have different children that are different functioning levels. So have your child participate in the way that they can. There's really cool things with autism too. And sometimes they see patterns where other people don't see patterns. And so I think it's a unique opportunity to kind of bring your family together. We've had so many funny moments, lessons learned from the book, teaching moments, a lot of love, laughter, and going out and being together and being together in nature. So, the last thing I want to say to autism families is I want you to think of this hunt as like Survivor. This is the 1 year anniversary that this has come out, which means some of you may think, oh my gosh, everybody is so much further ahead than me. They've had a year, they've been trying to find this treasure. Why should I bother getting into it now? But if you watch Survivor, when those teams are doing those challenges and they're working through the challenges, and one team is way further ahead, if you just stick with it like these other teams, they keep sticking with it, and eventually this team falters and the other team comes to swoop in and win it and get the prize. And that could be the exact same situation with you searching for the treasure. No box has been found. It is free game. And for moms of autistic kids, my husband said to me very politely a long time ago, I need to get a hobby. My life revolves around my family, around my son's needs, and all the things going on. And I didn't think I needed a hobby, but then when I found this was the most wonderful hobby. There's so many layers to it. So thank you, John, so much for putting this out. I always just love to share a story first so people know just how exciting the hunt is. And, stories are important along with the facts. So let's
Totally.
get
Well,
into it.
yeah,
Okay.
well, let me just say, like, that's a great story. That warms my heart, because I have two children of my own. I don't have an autistic child, but I do have a 2E child, so I
Nice.
have a little bit of experience what it's like to raise a high needs child, and I've been really like loving how many children have gotten involved in this. I recently did an interview with a classroom, a gifted and talented classroom in middle grade up in New York City. So anytime I get a chance to speak to people who have children or are getting children involved in this treasure hunt, I want to participate because I really have a place in my heart for that. And I totally agree that kids can see the world in different ways, and they can see patterns and things that adults maybe are too old to see,
Yeah.
are too rigid to see. And so I think I definitely would think it would be incredible if some kids found some of the treasure boxes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so neat to see, like, that you're so involved with promoting the kids being part of the hunt. And you have your own children's publishing company. So
I do.
obviously it's close to your heart writing children's books.
I do. Yeah.
And we have the other book that John wrote, Unbreakable Thread. It's a tearjerker. It's amazing. That book as well. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the questions. So first, I kind of want to just clarify some things for the community and everywhere else as well. So for those of you that are watching, I'm going to send you all of John's previous interviews so that you can get caught up on anything that he's shared as well. So I won't duplicate too much. So the first question I had is, you've been very clear that the boxes are not on private property. So no one should be searching on anybody's farms, ranches, or forested area. We're not going to be trespassing. It was assumed in the treasure hunt community that national parks would be out of bounds because of the strict rules. But in one interview, you commented not to rule it out because you wanted it to feel like a traditional treasure hunt, like the treasure was buried or hidden, a couple hundred years ago. So we now know that that's in play. I want to specifically ask if sovereign and native land is considered private land to you and should be ruled out.
Yeah, I consider native land to be private land. So national parks, state parks, that's all public land, all free game. Yeah, and I understand too, like, I think people make assumptions about like legalities of things, and I'm going to make sure whoever finds the treasure is going to be able to have a smooth transition to ownership. But as far as native lands, no, I would not have hidden anything there.
Okay, perfect. My next question is you've mentioned before that all the clues are needed to find the boxes are in the book. And
Yeah.
in another interview, someone asked you if you gave any clues in any updates, letters, or interviews. You kind of said no to it, but I want to specifically ask, and it's okay if you can't answer it, if there are any clues in your 1 year anniversary letter, because it was pretty clear to me by the way you wrote it that there might be.
Do you mean the email or something I updated on my website?
The email that you sent out of the 1 year anniversary.
I don't remember any specifically planned clue in the email that I sent out because I would put my email goes out to whoever subscribes to that newsletter.
Mhm.
But if I'm going to add any information of value, I'd like it to be very accessible. So I would only update it on the website. So I did do a couple links to some interviews that I did, including six written questions with Jenny Kyle,
Mhm.
just because it had some updated information about how close people had come to a couple of the treasures. Also, that I actually had to go and check on one of the treasures because I thought it might have been destroyed in a natural disaster. So while I don't really consider those things clues, obviously it's information, so open for interpretation. But anything that's like additional information, I put out of any import that I think is important, I'll put on the website.
Okay, perfect. So we can all look at the website for updates. The next question is, over time, landscapes change, trails and even roads can be widened or narrowed. Brush grows in, off-roads can be replowed to different sizes,
Right.
and areas that were once open may become harder to see or move through with the shifting material. So for
Mm.
searchers who are trying to interpret clues from your book to match the clues in the real terrain, how much
Mm.
should they factor in natural overgrowth or the changing landscapes, especially when the book says that no bushwhacking is needed?
Um,
A
yeah.
long question.
Did the book literally say no bushwhack? Did I write that in there? No bushwhacking is needed.
I don't know if you use the word bushwhacking, but yeah, in the Shiver Emerald story, he said, thank goodness no bushwhacking
Oh, I see.
during
Okay,
the
okay. Yeah, yeah,
season.
yeah. Well, no, I think they had machetes.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, I mean, God, that's a great question.
Like, how
Woo,
thick
that's
are
a
we
great
going
question.
into this? Like, you got a bunch of
Yeah, I
bushwhack.
mean, I, yeah, things do overgrow, like, but I don't know, like, I'm trying to think, like, I don't imagine a situation off the top of my head that anything will overgrow more than it already had when I was hiding. If anything, like if Mother Nature changes things, often it clears things out or knocks things down, but doesn't necessarily like grow things more. So I don't think that's going to be an issue.
Okay.
If for some reason it were an issue, I would probably mention it or something, but I don't think that's going to be an issue as
Okay.
of now.
All right. So you said that I want to make this clear to the community. The boxes are hidden, they're not buried. You don't need a shovel, you don't need a
Right.
crowbar like we took on one of our journeys. Um,
Okay.
you can search a spot. Sorry, if you can search a spot, will you see it from a certain angle, or do you have to like kind of get in there and move things around? I guess because it's not buried. If there's not natural overgrowth, you should be able to see it when you get to the vicinity.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that's another good. Well, I mean, everything's relative, right? I don't know if I can answer that question, but I think you'll need to be fairly close to the boxes, I think, to see them, because
Okay.
I didn't want them to be seen by accident.
Okay. And you don't need a metal detector to find it.
No, I'm
Okay.
not even sure like metal detector would help much. Maybe it would. I didn't test it out, but you don't need one.
Okay. Okay. Actually, with a steel 1075, which the boxes are, a metal detector would
Okay,
pick it up.
good.
But I guess we don't need it, so you can probably just see it. But okay, at what point will you go search on the lion's share and the other boxes? I know you checked for natural disasters, but when will you check to see did someone pick this up and they're just putting it in a pawn shop or what's going on? When are you going to check on them?
I don't think I'll ever check on them, but I did create, incentive structures for people to let me know, and let me know in private ways where they don't have to let me know who they are or anything about them. So I feel pretty comfortable that I will know.
Okay. Okay, so the next question is if someone knows the location but is struggling to find the treasure on site, do you have any advice of what would help them see what they're missing?
Hmm. Um, Well, l- I would say my only advice is like just maybe, you know, expand your, make sure that you don't leave anything, unseen. Like because here's the thing, like I think some like in previous treasure hunts, like there was a big one, the Forest Fin treasure hunt, which I was on, I think there were people who came very close to finding that treasure, like probably within 20 feet, 25, 30 feet, but they didn't, go close enough. And so I think that my advice would just be like, if you're really certain it's in an area, spend some time there. Spend some time there and look at the topography and cover as much ground as you can, not leaving anything left unchecked.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so my next question is you said that you created a variety of different solves for the different boxes because everybody's
Yep.
brain kind of works differently, which I think a lot of people appreciate. For the Appalachian Trail box, you said there are three ways, if I recall, to get to the treasure, but I don't know if you totally, I think you said that in an interview, but I'm not looking for that.
Yes.
But okay. So my next question is, how many ways did you create to find the lion's share of the treasure? I count four, but you can tell me.
Oh, wow. Hmm.
I think that would be a really good, like, not a giveaway clue, but
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I could,
excluding pictures, excluding
I
pictures.
could speculate. I mean, if you took the totality of it's kind of like asking me like to take the totality of all the clues that are in the book about that location,
Mm,
and then asking me like to kind of separate them and all the different combinations that I think would take you there, right? And
okay.
so I don't know. I would need some time with that one. But I think there's multiple ways. Like there's multiple ways to be pointed in the right direction for sure.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. All I can say is there's a lot more clues for that treasure box than the other ones.
Okay. Wonderful. And then let's see. Oh, someone asked this question. I'm not sure if you can answer, but I actually thought it was a really thoughtful question. Did you choose a spot for the lion's share that was an area that could financially or that could help financially or environmentally that area so that they would benefit from the national attention?
Oh, I'll just say I don't think I took that into consideration.
Okay. Okay. I just thought it was thoughtful the way they
Yeah.
wrote that. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, one thing I was curious about, if you took into consideration the heat with, for example, the Michael Jordan basketball card being in
Mm.
the treasure box. Like I know obviously gold, that's not going to be an issue, but things of paper and extreme heat might be a problem. Did you take that into consideration?
Yeah, yeah, I spent a lot of research, figuring out how I could protect not just the treasure items, but the treasure boxes that they're in, because the treasure boxes are so unique and one of a kind, and I really wanted them to be found in pristine condition, and so they couldn't just be, out there by themselves. So they need to be protected in some way. So the mechanisms and things I use to protect the box also protect things like, the cards and things like that.
Okay. Wonderful. My last question to you is I can't recall exactly how you said it in one of the interviews, but you almost indicated, like, I want to know why you did this treasure hunt. Like, I know you did
Mhm.
Forest Fenn's treasure hunt
Yeah.
and, had a lot of joy going out and doing that. And were into treasure hunts maybe as a child and all of that. But it almost felt like, however you were saying it in another interview, you felt like it was a life work that came to you, a life's work that came to you, or maybe a calling or something like that. If you don't mind sharing that story, if it's not too personal, I think it would be
No, I
great.
mean, and I think I talk about it some in the introduction to the book, right? Because I'm just trying to create some context for why I did this. Because in the beginning, like, the response I would get would be like, "What?" And then it would be like, "Why?" And so, that why, I think that why is really important. But yeah, I mean, yes, there was some inspiration from my prior experience, being out searching for treasure, having his experience very similar to how you described your son's experience, like just incredible vacation, being out in nature, like the adventure of it, the excitement of it, trying to figure things out, the full body, mental, emotional experience. And something that was analog versus digital, right? Something that's like real versus like, phone and TV oriented. But beyond that, like it was really like a flash of inspiration. I do think I was brushing my teeth or something, and I just realized like because the Forrest Fenn treasure had been found, and I thought, well, maybe if I find that, I can rehide it. But I was like, no, I can just do this thing because I was in a very unique situation. I had the financial resources, which most people don't have. I was very blessed. And I had the time because it was during COVID where we're all just kind of, well, I don't know where you live, but in California, we're just sitting here in our houses, trying to figure out what to do with our lives. And then, I've always been someone who sought out, creative endeavors. And I've always been someone who felt like, if something comes like inspired, like I can't ignore it. I have to do it, and so, there was the meme of it all was very much of like a giving. It wasn't for profit or for fame or anything like that. It was just for like, I think I can create a really, really cool experience for people. And I want to give that to people because, I do really, as I get older, try to find and value more and more just, moments of joy. One of the great things about being a parent, even if you have, challenging children that you have to spend a lot of time with, is that, that it's just an immense amount of joy that you get to experience, like, being involved in that raising process, right? And you tell it to someone who doesn't have kids, like myself, a handful of years ago, you can't explain it until you do, right?
Mhm.
And so it's the same thing with this. It's almost like giving birth to something and wanting to like have it grow and have a positive impact in the world, maybe. And so that was really the origin of it all. It was pretty simple, really, and pure, and felt pure to me. And I really feel like that, and I might be wrong about this, but I do feel like that there's been overwhelming response of positivity.
Mhm.
I didn't know like exactly what to expect, but I think that is because it kind of came from, wanted to be a giving. And so people have responded to that and they've really taken it on. And I tell people like yourself, like you're really the story now. I created this thing, but like it's people like you that's going out there and experiencing this and making the memories and having this time with your family and the children that are getting involved. You guys are writing the story. I don't know how this book is going to end, but you guys are going to write the chapters and like going to write the finale. And it might take a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, but like that book and that story is going to be told by you. And so I feel a lot of gratitude to people like you that are participating, and it's really exciting to be a part of it now.
Well, thank you. That was such a beautiful answer to that question. I think, having that inspiration while brushing your teeth and then, going for it is just, it's created this massive ripple effect of true joy in so many people's lives. And I think you're right. It's the story and it's the journey. That's actually really what the treasure is. And hopefully we all find the treasure at the end. But really the experiences that we're having is what makes it unique and fun. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because I know you've got to go, John. But for those of you watching, to purchase, there's treasure inside to be a part of the hunt. If you want to be, you can get it at any major bookseller, Barnes and Nobles, where we got ours. You can also get them on Apple Bookstore. We've got digital copies and all of that. And it's truly, truly an amazing hunt. So I hope your families try to participate, get involved, just grab a book, see what it's all about, show it to your autistic kids, and just start reading and see where it takes you from there. So, thanks again, John, for being on. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks,
I'll
Jenny.
go ahead and send a copy of this interview to you after as well, after I post it.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye,
Bye.
Nicole.
Thanks, Jenny.